How to speak English grammatically correct. Most of the time, people they have questioned this. We are all learning. I mean, you all are learning. You've been learning English, but you're ended up this question: how can I speak English more grammatically accurate? Is this Are you having caution? If yes, then let me help you with this. The very first tip I would like to give you, just try to listen again, listen carefully. The first thing, you don't need to follow slang and colloquialism expressions. Some of the studies said colloquialism may not always strict or follow grammar rules. So if you use them, it might be not accurate to speak. So it's better to avoid when you would like to speak grammatically accurate. Is some of the studies, as I have studies, I have already, investigated before making this video. I mean, I'm recording at this moment, but before recording, I have read a little bit. I always try to read something before I make videos for you. All right. The very second thing you have to do is to start learning 12, at least 12 tenses. If you have a question in your mind that you will be able to speak English with anyone if you just know some vocabularies, right? I agree with you totally. If you would like to just learn a lot of words, you will be able to speak. You will have a possibility to communicate with somebody. But there would be some confusion because it might be not make sense when you talk with somebody. It doesn't have really structured, right? Grammar make structure. Grammar make your your sentence, your words in a way that somebody understand accurately. So this is how we speak grammatically. We learn grammatically English, Sorry. We speak or we learn grammatically English. This is only a reason to making them understand. If you don't know these tenses, how you make them understand you're talking future tense, past tense, or whatever. There are 12 tense and each has different part. So it's very important to learning grammar according to my opinion. So learning grammar in a boring way, I would not suggest you, of course. Most of people, they don't really know how to learn grammar in a very nice way, of course. There are a few things that you have to follow. First thing, you have to ask yourself question: is it really need to learn English for me very quickly, or is it okay to learn English slowly? If you don't really have required or requirement to learn English just within 2-3 months, then I think it's very good way to start speaking rather than learning grammar. Because in the very beginning, just start to try to speak phrases with somebody. When you will be able to communicate a little bit with someone, you are able to communicate like little bit conversation, greeting or introduction, or like this, then you can start grammar. This could be very nice because just starting grammar as initial level, you get bored and you would not be having more, you know eagerness or curiosity in your mind. So I think this is a good suggestion according to my opinion. All right. Okay. Then after learning these 12 tenses, you have to follow practicing to use them. Writing and reading are most interesting part when it comes to understanding the grammar structure. Reading can help you to understand how somebody is speaking. Try to read and write and listen. These three things. For example, let's just try to split them. Try to listen. When you listen, as I said, listening can help you to understand the structure. So when you are going to listen English movies, listening podcast might be very boring for you. I would suggest you to listen in a visual way. You would be having some pictures in front of your eye. So you're watching movies or you have maybe TV series, whatever. You're watching, and you're listening, and also you're seeing subtitles. One of the best thing that you are going to be able to learn most of the time the structure, how people are speaking. Whatever you listen is somehow your mind is saving. So it's always good to practice with listening. That can also one of the part of speaking more grammatically and accurately. Second thing, as I said, reading and writing. Whatever you read, after reading, you try to write it, because reading can help you to understand what this sentence is, saying, and how it is written. And you might learn some kind of tenses. In the second part, you studied grammar, and now you're going to practice with listening and reading. So whatever you learn, those rules you will be able to understand here in this reading part, right? And you are going to simply read it, and you try to understand them, and you will understand many different mixed, like perfect tense, or past perfect tense, present tense, future tense. Maybe you will be having fixed. Most of the time, if you're reading some kind of storytelling book, you will be having only past tense. So this is a good way to select any specific book. It would be related, maybe past stories. Just try to practice your past tense by reading a few pages. Reading 10 pages, 20 pages, you'll be able to understand how this past tense work, right? This is very important according to my opinion. To take a book and to read a story that happened. So that lets you to understand grammatically rule. So I'm not telling you that you're going to be able to speak English grammatically correct after watching this video, because this is impossible. My video would not teach you to learn at this moment grammar. My video can give you very interesting tips that you can follow. I really guarantee you that you'll be able to speak grammatically correct. So this is what I think I always with you as this tips as I give you my word. All right, another thing I would like to mention you with writing. After reading, you can try to write. You can also write whatever you studied in the grammar. Try to practice with sentences. Try to write those sentences that you have studied. Try to make 10 sentences of present, 10 sentences of part of this. When you are going to split, sorry for just interrupting this conversation, when you are going to learn 12 tenses, it's just not 12, it has 4 parts. For example, you study present tense. In a present tense, you have present simple, negative, interrogative, and also interrogative negative. And each part of these 12, you have a 4 parts. So it can be a lot of them. But this is not that much hard as you think. If you learn first one, you'll be able to understand, okay, what is negative, what is interrogative, what is, questions, question words and negative. So you'll be able to understand. Only you have to understand is the first time, and later all of them, they have a same. But remember, their helping verb would be completely changed. You have to remember, in the first tense present, you have a do, does, and in present continuous, you'll be having is, am, are, right? But also, if you're going to take a look of another tense like past, you'll be having did, only did. Then past continuous, was, were. So each tense has different helping verb. You have to keep it in mind. Then you have to use not, only not word with the negative, and the whole sentence structure will be following 100% same as you have learned in the first part. Is like not or question would be like helping verb in the first, and then you will be having subject, then you will be having verb, then object, then question mark. So this is like this. So try to write as much as you write that you learned, you'll be able to understand these grammar tenses accurately. This is more what I will guarantee you. Okay, after doing these 4 or 5 tips I given you, now you have to just try to find partner to start it to practice these 12 tenses. Just not always try to learn and leave it. Never do that. Always after doing these few tips, you have to try to bring it into your mind, bring it on your tongue, try to speak with someone. The very interesting thing that you have to try to find partners. If you don't know where to find partners, try to find link below in description. I have added for you a few applications whom you can talk with people there on application. So practice this is very important. Just learning and not practicing, it's a big mistake and you will never become better. So start it to practice. Another thing is always try to get feedback. Learning grammatically correct, for that you always need feedback. Feedback is one of the most important thing. if you get feedbacks from someone, you'll be able to have a very nice, somebody point out your mistake. It's good. You don't need to be angry, you have to be happy, because this is how you're going to enhance. If somebody correct you, you'll be feeling amazing. You'll think, okay, he corrected, okay, next time you remember. Do you know this is actually works? When somebody correct you, it it is very easily to remember. Your mind catches very fast, according to my opinion, as I have experienced. If somebody corrected me, I always remember, okay, well, yeah, it wasn't it. So our mind is something like this. If you are going to be corrected by someone, I think this is best thing that has never happened. You feel like this. So try to follow these few tips to try to be better, and never forget to practice, and never avoid teaching after making them. Whatever you learned, try to pretend like you are having two people in a mirror, or you will find somebody whom you are going to teach, or you can pretend like you're teaching someone. This is the last tip I'm going to give you. Just try to have a paper and try to feel like you have somebody in front of you. You are going to teach. You say, today we are going to learn this. We have to learn what is the use of present simple tense. You're teaching like this to someone. This is what pretending is not a big deal. It means you're going to teach someone this how. So I always suggest you to do this and try to work on it. This is my 100% guarantee that you are going to be able to speak English grammatically correct if you're going to follow this one. So this is first video. I hope you will like it. Let's continue this topic, and I will try to give you more tips on this, the same same part, same question, how to speak English grammatically correct. This is the first part. I would like to try to start second part. In the second part we will be talking something different. Okay, so that's all. Thank you so much guys for today's video, and I hope it was really helpful for you. If you have any kind of questions, feel free to ask me. Love you guys.